Hey guys, Dylan here, and today we are going to be doing a Sonic Insanity. Today's Sonic Insanity is going to be talking about Chris Chan and his world of OCs. Now, for those of you guys who've been following Chris Chan, you may have seen his My Little Pony trading card game. I was going to do a separate video on that, and I might do it later. I don't know. I really don't care because I lost interest in it. That's what I tend to do. I just lose interest in things. But what I do want to talk about is a lot of these strange OCs that have been appearing on his cards. This article will go over a lot of the OCs, but this video is also kind of a call out to anybody who does know Chris Chan shit and has access to the quickie to update this, because it's missing a lot of important OCs. So let's look at what this article has and see where it can improve. OC. Every original character begins in our sister dimension, C197, and stays there unless the OC is specified to mainly exist in an alternate dimension or timeline aside from C197. And we will be able to soon fully see them in the dimensional merge. And that was Chris Chan's quote about his stupid merge. It's never gonna fucking happen. And then we have another quote. I recall that there was a mythos about me online. Myself, Chris Chan, I was an OC in my own stories. Was I real in this reality? That is Dimension 1218. And then I was confirmed in late 2007 that a blurry photograph of me in a moment of great shock and stress. And that was Chris claiming that he himself is an OC. An OC, short for original character, is a character in a fan work that didn't previously exist in any source material. In Chris's fantasy world, however, it is a term that refers to any residents in visions in Dimension C197, regardless of their original creator. Chris has also used this term to refer to himself as a goddess solely because he believes OCs originate in C197 dimension he rules over. Before this, Chris had created a huge multitude of characters in other franchises. And just a little heads up, before he started calling it C197, he actually would refer to it as the cartoon world. And the reason why he referred to it as that is because he got it from Roger Rabbit. He saw Roger Rabbit and saw all these fictional characters from different companies intermingling, and he took that as canon in his head, that there is an alternate reality where all the cartoon characters hang out. So this merge thing has been something he's been talking about for a while. He just didn't call it that. He's come up with new terms. Chris had created a huge multitude of other franchises, primarily the Sonic the Hedgehog canon, for at least a decade. Chris believed the possibility that all fictional characters may exist in an entirely separate dimension. However, this world would later transition him into believing that the universe is one big cartoon, where every living thing is actually a character of said cartoon. With this delusional mindset, people such as the Idea Guys fanned the flames of Chris's detachment from reality and further convinced him that it is possible to communicate with OCs. This page will attempt to list and describe all the OCs Chris incorporated from media he consumes and influences the Idea Guys, Jacob Sockness, and his true loyal fans have put into the community of beliefs. Now, we're going to be looking over these OCs. I'm going to read the most basic description of them, and I'll zoom in on some of the photographs when I see fit if they have a photo. Anime characters. Influence, the Idea Guys. Description, as a group deemed worthy recipients of prayer in belief of the OCs and deities without further qualifications. Dimension of origin, unknown. Comic debut, Sonichu 5. Asperchu, Alec Benson Leary. Ironically, the character that Chris once sought to destroy is now accepted as a Sonichu OC. And I think canonically he's known as Mitch. I don't know if Chris still goes with that, but Chris renamed him to Mitch and cured him of his Asperger's in the Sonichu continuity. But in Asperchu's continuity, Mitch is a separate character that is different from Asperchu. And the dimension of origin is unknown, and the comic book debut is non-existent, even though Asperchu has appeared in comics, and you need to update that because he has. He appeared in issue 10. Come on. keep up with your Sonichu shit. And then there's this new bitch called Astoria. I never even heard of her. I've never heard of this blue Sonichu looking thing ever in my life. This bubble Rosichu wannabe. Her creator is Pepper X Who. I don't fucking know. Pepper X Who. I know it's supposed to be Chew, but you don't spell Chew with an X. An electric water type Rosichu, said to live outside of Quickville, and does gardening as her hobby. Her gardening is apparently so good, all the plants shimmer in day and night. Her dimension is C197, and her comic debut is unknown. A.J. Farton, and the creator is unknown. How the fuck is he unknown? A My Little Pony OC, Chris discovered him and said that he's known for, oh no, I know this character, oh god. His apple juice farts really bad, and yet apple juice is his favorite beverage, a fucking fetish character. Hugh, probably a troll creation, after describing this character, Chris had to deny that he has a fart fetish, which he probably does. And the dimension is unknown, and the comic book debut is unknown. Battery Charge Heart, and let me show you this bitch. She looks very uncreative. She looks overly convoluted. And the C's are backwards, making it look like she's a fucking retard who doesn't know how to spell. But she is obviously a Christian White Knight. She's got the Sonichu ball as her shield. She's got Christian's colors everywhere. And she shoots Sonichu balls, apparently. So, Battery Charge Heart CPU of Quickville, Virginia. So now Quickville, Virginia has a CPU, even though CPUs were supposed to represent consoles, not places on the map, but whatever. This character was created by the Idea Guys, and a god-like warrior of Quickville. Dimension C197, and she's going to appear in Sonichu 14. Boris. Let's take a look at Boris. And Boris is this weird, ugly, Snorlax Sonichu looking thing. He's not very creative at all. RPs only, so he... Wait, what? Is the creator RP, or was he existing in RPs? A shoddily drawn Sonichu that draws enemies in with a mysterious gravitational field. Dimension unknown and comic unknown. Carrie Kruger, which I had already talked about this before with the fucking stupid guy that was pretending to be her. Multi-dimensional White Knights made her, well, she's really a gumball character, but Multi-Dimensional White Knight is the one who introduced her. A Ween pretending to be in C197, Dimension C197, non-existent. Cheval. Ooh, I want to see Cheval. He's a very overly convoluted OC. I don't know who would design their character like this. I like the idea of the flames, but you should decide if it's blue flames or not, because this little crotch part where it's dark tan, that doesn't work. It's an interesting concept, but it just looks terrible in the end. Creator unknown. A fire electric steel type Sonichu with possible PTSD that lives in a lonely life due to the amount of unintended damage he causes around him. What the fuck does that even mean? What does he do? What's his power? He's fire electric, but that doesn't say anything. His dimension is unknown, his comic book appearance is unknown. Patty Chandler, or just all the Chris deceased pets, apparently. Created by Chris, reincarnation of Patty, and the deceased Chandler cats. Did he make the cats a character now? I don't see any proof of that, and I'm not clicking on that article because I already did 2 videos on that. Dimension C197, and appearing in Sonichu 6. Kristen Weston Chandler. Chris. Yes, Chris has proclaimed himself a goddess and believes that that the majority of men living in this planet should bow down and serve his will as one. And he is in Dimension 1218, which is our dimension, and he first appeared in Sonichu 0. Cindy Zapbud. Now, I never heard of this character, so this should be interesting. There's no photo associated, and if I look up this character and there's a photo associated, I'm going to be disappointed. Chris imagined this up out of spite towards Cole Smithy. In the Rosichu story fan comic, Cole is a Pokemon professor. Chris disapproved of this detail and claimed that Cole was later demoted due to flattering work that Cindy Zapbud replaced him. Chris made sure to note that Zapbud is 4'11" and has D-cup breasts because Chris is sexist. That's normal. She lives in C197, and her comic book debut is unknown. And CPU Goddesses, this is introduced by the Idea Guy. As a group, these anime fembots, they're robots? I didn't even know that. From a video game series were made the object of Chris's adulation under the Idea Guy's influence in late 2017. And together with Chris's own OCs from the nucleus of his mixed bag of pantheon, notable examples found on this list include Scarlet, the Commodore Goddess, and Battery Charge Heart. And her dimension is C197, well, their dimension is C197, they're going to appear in Sonichu 14. Krizzle Rosachu. Now, Krizzle Rosachu is fucking annoying because I hate how her name is spelled. Introduced by the Idea Guy, created by the Idea Guy solely so that they can make Chris into a pedofork by having him marry her along with Magichan, Mewtwo, and Sylvania. And I wonder, Sylvana, whatever, I hate her name. But I wonder if that's still canon, if this character still exists, if she's still underage, and if Chris still wants to consider her canon. That's interesting. Apparently, she exists in 1218, which is our dimension, and that's fucking stupid, because she's obviously not in our dimension. And she will appear in Sonichu 16 if he ever gets it done. CWC Psych-like. What the fuck is this? I never heard of this. That's literally just Chris. It says Christine Weston Chandler of Metropolis, Delaware. That's literally just Chris. This is just a repainted Chris. God, Chris's artwork's gotten worse. Chris's biographer, basically a personification of the Quickie, except that's a favorable to Chris, which would be the former Wikipedia. So he made a character modeled after the Wikipedia. That is dumb. Now we got Daedalus? Daedalus. I don't know what that is. It's a fucking weird rat thing with a wrench. And it is known, the guy who made it is Cedric F. And Daegu is a character created by the Kiwi Farms user, Cedric F. He is a very skilled mechanic that builds jets, armor, and weapons. And he is from Dimension X686, and his comic book appearance is unknown. The Dark Idea Guy, the Idea Guys. Chris believed that the Dark Idea Guy was plotting to invade Alcatraz through a crack in Chris's shower. That actually made me twitch for a second at how stupid that was, but I'll ignore it. First mentioned by Chris in October 2018, half a year after the Idea Guys had been removed from power, meaning that Chris is still referring to the old Idea Guys notes. And I hate that Jacob Sockness is literally doing shit extremely similar to the Idea Guys, and Chris just falls for it again because he's fucking gullible. Dimension unknown, comic book appearance unknown. And this is just fucking Ed Bighead, but I guess I'll pretend he's a different character. Darius, King of Babylon. Multi-dimensional white... Oh, it's that fucking asshole again. That stupid fucking person. Bastardization of Ed Bighead from Rocko's Modern Life. Conflated with Persian king who conquered Babylon and threw Daniel into the lions. Who fucking cares? It's that fucking Christian White Knight that made it. This is a character I actually did want to talk about. Derek Sonichu. Now, Derek looks just like Magichan, and that's because he is Magichan. Derek was made by that same guy from earlier, and he is another OC created by Cedric. He is the X686 counterpart of Magichan. So, yeah, it's Magichan from another dimension. He's a fucking recolor of a recolor. And Dr. Wolf, and dear God, this one's long. MLP persona of Brent Wilson, a YouTuber who reviews episodes of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, even though he has garnered a lot of attention from the Brony fanbase in 2013. Chris hasn't noticed him until mid-2018, when his experience at the 2018 BronyCon was blogged on his channel. Eventually, when Chris began getting blocked by several Twitter users, which I covered that, the Twitter blocking saga or lockout saga, Chris decided to use his persona in both a LEGO video in Sonichu Special, where he lectures characters about the supposed psychological damage inflicted onto Chris, as Chris has reduced the character to being a stock doctor character in the comics. He's from Dimension C197 and appears in Sonichu Special 6, which I didn't know he's still doing the specials. And let's keep on going. Ember. Ember is that Danny Phantom character, but I guess is a different character, and that fucking image quality is terrible. But creator unknown, punk female Sonichu, dimension unknown, appearance unknown. Exiled Sonichu. That's a stupid name. These are so uncreative. What did I expect from Christian fans? Exiled Sonichu, Shadow's retarded cousin. Exiled Draco. Oh, I know the Exiled Draco. I know him. How do I know him? Oh my god, I've been around the Christian fan base too long. I know that guy. A black Sonichu that Chris claimed to have attempted to assassinating him. Yeah, I remember this guy. Fate, Teen Troon Squad. A Pikachu later evolved into Raichu that Chris met at Target in October 2018, likely created by the Teen Troon Squad, as Fate was only mentioned during the time frame Chris was in contact with them. Fate's purpose was to work with the squad and Chris on the merge, which is fucking dumb, and was a watchdog tasked with killing non-believers, and they did such a good job. All the non-believers are still alive. A convenient reason as to why Chris wasn't allowed to give details. And they are in C197, and they did not make a comic appearance. Gabriel. I've never heard of Gabriel either, but I recognize that art style. That definitely looks like the real Sonichu's art style. Super Crazy Crash. A Sonichu Caesar hybrid that works as a bartender at a place called Zany Zapbud. He is believed to be a long-lost member of the Chaotic Combo, as he was born from the same rainbow that created them, like every fucking Sonichu. All the Sonichus are created from the rainbow, mostly. Gary Stu. Now, this is a character I've actually been seeing a lot of. It's a stupid My Little Pony OC. This is on Chris's Twitter a lot, so hopefully this video explains something to you about that. Created by Chris, even though not really. A male pony created during the Soft Exile, with heavy inspiration from Mad Munchkin's Mary Sue character, without realizing that she was originally made to be a joke character for a single video. Much like Mary, he is perfect in every way and always knows the right thing to do. He is in C197 and his comic book appearance is unknown. And this is a fan favorite. A fan favorite character indeed, Hitler Chew. Hail me, I am now a Sonichu. This is a fan favorite. I've been asked to do videos on Hitler Chew for a long time. His creator is the Idea Guys, leading member of the National Socialist German Workers' Party from 1920, Chancellor of Germany from 1933, and President of 1934 to his suicide in 1945, transformed into a Sonichu like his entire political party during Monika's defeat at the Battle of Quickville to ruin any claim of pure Aryan blood. And he is in Dimension 1218, so Hitler Chew exists in our reality. And he was supposed to appear in issue 13, and I don't know if he will. I don't know if issue 13 is canon or not. One day I'll have to do a video just talking about that. Holly Hook. And this is not an original character. It is literally just a Raichu. It's just a sexualized Raichu. That's all that is. Created by Kelly S. Some sort of electric fairy type Rosachu cat hybrid that doesn't like to be touched, but is very fast and nimble. She is known to be first is beauty pageants. Wait, what? She is known to be first is beauty pageants with her fashion choices. That grammar. Someone fucking fix that. That's terrible. The fact that I had to fuck up on that because you didn't put in. You put is. No one's checking this. Dimension unknown. Comic book appearance unknown. Ig, Nig, Not, and and they are from Aqua Teen Hunger Force. Multi-dimensional White Knights. Of course. I'm gonna skip it. Because I don't care. Fuck them. Fuck the multi-dimensional White Knights. I already did a video on that. J-Chew. Let's take a look at J-Chew. This is a mixture of Sonichu and Angelica. That is literally what he is, and I am terrified to know why there are jets in the background. The Sonichu persona Chris drew of the Captain, which was one of the trolls that were protecting Chris at a time, depicted as what deems to be a flying wonder. Unfortunately, the captain didn't appreciate being shoehorned into Chris's Fantasyland and made a Kiwi Farms post to show his disapproval. Yeah, he really didn't like Chris's delusions. He lives in C-197, and his comic book appearance is unknown and probably won't happen. This is another popular one, thanks to Jacob Sockness the Human Blob being popular. This is Jacoba, his totally original and not plagiarized from religion character. Jacob Sockness, an evil god of rock cats, monstrous representation of Jacob, who's already a monstrous representation of a human, who made his comic debut in Sonichu 14, even though that's not done yet. C-197 is where he's in, and he'll appear in Sonichu 14, if that ever comes out. Jesus Christ, God and the Bear is listed as his creator. Demoted to be the same status as everyone else on the list by Chris, and believe that the OCs and deities deemed unworthy to worship Chris. Unknown, and he will appear in Sonichu 10. He already appeared in Sonichu 10, apparently. I think Jesus appeared before that, too. He appeared in, fantasy scenes. Johnson Wiles, the Idea Guys, alias of the Idea Guy, Joshua Wise, who cares? Kepler, who's this? It's another shadow-looking character. Weird. And it's made by that same guy again. Created by Cedric, the name itself was based off of Kiwi Farms poll. The character is 6'8", whatever, that dimension of Blake. So it is Black Sonichu, with a Ditto DNA added that allows him to reshape his body. We already have that with fucking Sylvania. Into weapons. He can shapeshift, so he's like T-1000, into demonic entity with heavy inspiration from Gygas from the Mother series and invade your dreams. He's in that fucking X686 dimension, and his comic book appearance is unknown. And then we've got Kun T. Nougat, the Idea Guys, and it's a shitty pony, so I'm not clicking on it. A Vietnamese pony who is Nightstar's sweetheart and likes to cook and tinker with technology. Lives in C-197, will appear in Sonichu 12-9. Lightning Quartz, Chris. An earth pony Chris claims to have unconsciously created in Brazil area of Equestria while meditating. Occasionally, he will transform into the most powerful alicorn for a short time. I don't know what that is, and I don't fucking care. He lives in C-197, and he hasn't appeared in a comic. Liliana. I'm gonna go Liliana. She's a pink Rosachu with long hair. Rose Lily Chu, the head princess of the Temple of Heart, where she teaches those lucky enough to find it about the Ancient Prophecy. And I need to do a video just talking about the Ancient Prophecy later. She lives in C-197, and her comic book debut is unknown. Luca Sonichu, Teen Troon Squad. The Sonichu avatar of Lucas, one of the members of the Teen Troon Squad. They exist in this dimension despite being a Sonichu, and they have not appeared in a comic book. Oh god, Magichan. Why is Magichan's bio so fucking long? Magichan Sonichu, the most well-known member of the Chaotic Combo. He is an omnipotent Sonichu with infinite magical powers, of course, with Chris's current stance on all things occult and supernatural. It was only a matter of time before trolls and weens alike would use his character to exploit his psyche. In mid-2017, by this time, Chris became infatuated with the character of the Idea Guys, knew that this was a perfect opportunity to turn this against him. By this time, they've been making up all kinds of stories about the character in such situations as incestuous homosexual marriage. Afterward, Chris has finally declared his love quest over, having been married to both his creation as well as Mewtwo. And he exists in C-197 and has appeared since Sonichu issue 3. Mary Sue, Mad Munchkin, a joke character produced by Mad Munchkin to represent her hatred of the Alicorn OCs. She is well known for her conceited nature and her belief that she is truly the greatest pony. Chris decided to ship this character with his own creation, Gary Stu. C197 is where they're from, and they have not appeared in any comics. Misty Chew. Now this one actually looks a little bit unique. Let's take a look at Misty Chew. I actually like Misty Chew's design. It's not too terrible. It's a little bit too complicated, but it's an alright design overall. At least they're trying to do something different with the generic Sonichu template. Misty Chew, a knight Rosachu that is stronger than any Metonic or human knight, and they are from a dimension unknown and have not appeared in any comic. Mac Tonight, and I don't even need to introduce Mac Tonight or Moon Man. God, fuck that. We're skipping over anything from multi-dimensional oh, hey, Jacob Sockness is there too. But fuck the multi-dimensional White Knights. I'll go with Sockness. Working with Jacoba. That's the only connection, so fuck him. Nightstar, that's Chris's shitty pony OC, and she is very popular if you read Ben Saint's comic, where she is the villain. Chris's My Little Pony self-insert. That's the only definition they've got. Lives in C197 and has appeared in Sonichu 12.9. Night V, and I've done a video on Night V's creator. You can go on my White Knight series if you want to see that. A lot of White Knight characters on here. A combination of the Sega character Knights and the Pokemon Eevee. Megan successfully convinced Chris that her fan character was canon to the Sonichu universe by pretending to be a goddess herself. And this character exists in C197 and has not appeared in any comics yet, but probably will because Chris keeps drawing her, and this is Chris's drawing right here. And Noel, oh god, I just did a whole video about Noel. Let me see. That's a whole description. I guess I'll say Noel. Description is watch my video that came out like 3 fucking days ago. There. Watch my Noel video, my Noel Sonic Insanity. Watch it, because that's literally all it's saying here. Dimension 1218, even though he's clearly a pony, and appears in Sonichu 12.9. Pending Doom. I think this was, yeah, that's a Megan character. I talked about this during the Pokemon original cards episode, like the Wall of Originals. I mentioned this character and said they never did anything. Highly inspired by one of Megan's OCs, Dimension Unknown, comic book appearance unknown. Pepper Chew. Who the fuck is Pepper Chew? I've never seen Pepper Chew. It's just, it looks like Magichan, but it's a female Pikachu. What the fuck? And the cheek pouches are giant. It's an emo fucking Sonichu. Pepper Chew, created by Pepper X Chew. Oh, hey, it's that same person from earlier. The Sonichu persona of Twitter user Pepper Chew, a gothic book smart Rosachu. Of course, that's not Rosachu. For Rosachu, it's a Raichu that is female. It's not a female Sonichu. You're wrong on that. Who is best friends with Astoria. She is well adjusted in self-defense and quick wits, of course. She lives in C197 and comic book appearance unknown. Pepsi Man, unknown. Japanese mascot for Pepsi. Appearance unknown, universe unknown. Is this? No, we're not near the end yet. Fuck. And this is a new one. It looks like a white Christian Sonichu. That's all it looks like, is a white Christian Sonichu. I don't see any difference. Perceptor, the idea guys. Another long-lost chaotic combo member with no real defining traits beside that she is very smart and never she's a female Sonichu, okay. And never feels aroused at anything. She also has a mission to completely obliterate the Nazi party of C197. Very good motives, and she's from C197 and hasn't appeared in a comic yet. This is one of Ben Saint's characters, Phantom Horn, and it is created by Ben Saint, and it's Ben Saint's pony OC. And they exist in C197, and they were going to appear in Sonichu Special 7. I didn't know Chris was doing a special based off of Ben Saint's comic. Didn't know that. Plotted Device. Creation unknown. A robotic magician with Magichan soul, created in the Skullgirls dimension. Apparently created after it was found that the dimension's conditions were too much for Magichan, so the robot was made in his image. That's fucking dumb. And it lives in dimension S642 and hasn't appeared in any comics. Poppy. And it was created by Sonichu for Life. Let's take a look at this character. Yeah, it looks about as original as you thought it would. Rosachu, who... That's not a Rosachu. No, this is obviously a Pichu. Whatever. A Rosachu, who is a soccer fanatic and a player of Quickville Strikes. Much like the other characters on this list, she has the powers that cannot be matched, such as super speed and endurance, because of course. Her dimension is unknown, and her comic book appearance is non-existent. Ray. Rosachu, R Rosachu. Grass-based Rosachu with dragon-based attacks, of course. Universe unknown, comic book appearance not happening. Robert Chu. This is Chris's deceased father, who he's made into a Sonichu. He was originally plaid, but now he's just pure red, because Chris didn't want to draw spots. Chris was convinced that his late father's spirit resides in C-197, just like his dog. During the Idea Guy saga, Bob's Sonichu form may have this designed by the Idea Guy. He is in the form of a beaver. Why beaver? In possible nod to Bob's internet lumberjack nickname. Yeah, but that's not really a Sonichu if he's a beaver. Featured in Sonichu 16, in which Bob meets and befriends Ted Bundy. Yes, Bundy Chew. We'll get to him in a minute. His fur was originally red with... Oh, they mentioned that. But Chris got tired of drawing it. He exists in 1218, even though he's currently deceased and only appears in the comics, which is a different universe, and will appear in Sonichu 13. And now we get to Romeo, and I think I don't like this character at all, just by looking at how they wink. Made by Midnight Moonflower, a charismatic Sonichu. Not a Sonichu, he is a male Rosachu. He has a fucking Raichu tail. What's even the point of these classifications if no one fucking follows him? Who picks up women with relative ease, said to be named after his trainer, who was a lovely theater kid. Universe is unknown, and comic book appearance is not happening. Rosachu, created by Chris, mentioned besides Sonichu as OC especially deserving of worship and believe the OCs and deities. Lives in C-197, appear in Sonichu 0. And Sarah and Steve Chu. I did a video on Sarah and Steve. They're part of the White Knight series. Go check it out. These are their totally original characters, and they both look like shit. One's a Cream the Rabbit recolor, and one's just bad. And they were created by Sarah and Steve on November 6, 2019. Sarah and Steve planted the idea guy of Sarah Chu and Steve Chu, and I guess that's not wrong, in Chris's head, who used his psychic powers to see them in C-197. They exist in C-197, and they're never going to appear in a comic book, but they didn't even put it in A. They just literally just left it blank. Scarlet, which is literally just Chris's god form, so fuck it, I don't care, I'm not going to zoom in on it, it's just Chris again. The idea, guys, Chris's depiction of himself as a CPU goddess of the Commodore Nation, exists in C-197, appears in Sonichu 14. Scott Sound Splicer. Now, I've seen this guy around, but I have no idea who the fuck he is. I think he's a Ben Sync character. Created by Sound Splicer. Who the fuck is Sound Splicer? Don't just say that name like I know him. A drawn representation of a YouTuber, Sound Splicer. I don't know who that is. Lives in 1218 and hasn't appeared in any comics. Shadow Alaya, the in-game's friend. A friend of Chris's Pokemon Club requested Chris to draw him as a Shadow Pokemon. Chris then believed he drew it. Shadow Alaya was therefore real in C-197. Chris also believed he was told by the idea guys that Shadow Alaya is a villain. And they have no drawing for him. He exists in C-197 and hasn't appeared in a comic. Siddhartha, I'm sorry for whatever religion this is. I don't care. Unknown, most commonly known as the Buddha, though this title is rather than an identifying name. He is usually worshipped by his followers, yet is indicated by Chris and believe the deities and OCs to be an object of such among which. And dimension is unknown, and comic book appearance is unknown. Slurp Chew, which is something that is made of nightmares, if nightmares tried to look like Sans Undertale on crack. Creator unknown, a dinky mint green Sonichu, which has an incredibly small body, stubby limbs, and a permanent grin. Dimension unknown, comic book appearance not happening. Sushi. That is a very un-Chris character to draw. I wonder who he's based after. Chris, a geeky ferret character that likes to play video games and trolling people, possibly based on the original character of Sonichu Mania mod. Oh, the guy who's making Sonichu Mania. He made a character to represent him. He exists in C187, and he hasn't appeared in any comics. Snowchew, and she has the ability to be a slutty Pokemon. She is created by Chansey Draws, a Rosachu cheerleader obsessed with anything with ears that glows red. Dimension unknown, comic book appearance not happening. Sonichu, created by Chris, is the one who started it all back in 2000. He is known to have entered our dimension as of early as Chris's confrontation with Mary Lee Walsh. Exists in C197, was created in Sonichu Zero. Strawberry Milk, created by Ben Saint, Phantom Horn's perverted dragon friend that tells inappropriate sex jokes. Exists in C197 and in Ben Saint's comic book dimension, and will appear in Sonichu Special 7. Sturbinchu. It's literally just a recolor of Sonichu, but he looks like he's super. The Idea Guys. One of the 69 destined Sonichu and Rosachus. Ha ha ha, you're so funny. Inspired by Y's catalog by Chris, and the name from Germans, who fucking cares, as a now meaning dying, a rather mundane Sonichu that has the appearance of supersonic and the uncanny ability to clone himself indefinitely. He exists in C197, and his comic book appearance is not happening. And here is a fan favorite, yet again, one people have been wanting me to cover for a long time, Bundy Chew. Yes, Ted Bundy. Ted Bundy Sonichu. People have been fucking crazy about this for a long time. I'm finally talking about him. He was created by the Idea Guys, a notorious serial killer and rapist of the 1970s, but as a Sonichu, the Idea Guys convinced Chris that he was among the 69 destined Sonichu and Rosachus produced, besides the more familiar characters like Wild Sonichu, Magichan Sonichu, in Sonichu Zero. And he exists in C197, sadly enough, and he will appear in Sonichu 13, if that is even still canon. Teddy Chew is one that I've been seeing going around lately. I have no idea what this is. It looks like a clown. A bear-type Sonichu, and also a shadow that came to life in the media found in C197. Don't ask how that makes any sense. It doesn't make any fucking sense, and it's created by Josh Yu. And it exists in C187 and has not appeared in any comics. Tricky Chew, which I've talked to her. She's a really cool person. She made Rosachu's story, really good artist. She's really cool. She gave me a retro pie. She's a pretty cool woman. But Tricky Cat is the creator of Tricky Chew. And created by Tricky Cat, the author of Rosachu's story, an android cat made out of the love and magic and chaos energy with the ability to create and destroy anything at will, and even entire galaxies. Exists in unknown and won't appear in any comics anytime soon. VHS, created by Pepper Chew again, a retro-themed Sonichu that I fucking hate, and exists in Dimension Unknown and won't appear in any comics because it lacks originality. Vivichu, and that is definitely a Pichu, and maybe Chris is more sane than these stupid people. Created by Vivichu 2000, a stereotypical teenage female Pichu. So this one's a Pichu, but that one earlier was listed as being a Sonichu. People need to fucking relabel this shit because they're obviously wrong. Dimension unknown, comic book appearance not happening. Were-chan. Were-chan looks fucking disturbing. I would never want to run into this in my wildest nightmares. Made by Replay with spaced out like it's a retrowave fucking album. And a Rosachu that is a werehog, which not really, has the unnatural red eyeballs and apparently has a thing for drinking beer. When Chris first shared this OC on Twitter, several people joked about her possible usage of marijuana due to the appearance of her eyes. That's probably the joke behind it. Universe unknown and comic book appearance not happening. Chris. Yes, you two are an OC according to Chris, as an assortment of characters in this list shows, though it is not quite clear that what he means to entail. Depends on who you are. And comic book appearance not happening. Zeus, created by ... king of the ancient pagan gods in Greece and Rome, his worship extinct since the 5th century AD, is revived by Chris in Believe the OCs and Deities, and universe unknown and not appearing in any comics. So yeah, that was everything. That was all the OCs they had here. They're missing a lot. They need all the chaotic combo, a lot of characters from Sonichu, a lot of fucking characters need to be added to this. There's so many trolls on Twitter, so many trolls in real life that need to be added. This needs a lot of updating. So if you have the ability to go on the quickie and you actually pay attention to Christory, please update this because it's really, really, really lacking. And I know there's a tag saying that, so yeah. But hopefully you guys learned quite a bit here. This is a really long video and I'm going to hate editing it. But yeah, there's a lot of info here and hopefully it's cleared up some of the characters you might have not known. If you guys like this stream, hit the like button. If you really like it, share it. If you want to see more, then subscribe. I'm going to go back to bed. Bye, guys.